1.
Okay, guys, and welcome back. This is the latest edition of the American Scouts podcast. This is your host Hooch, and with me today, once again, I have Cozzy and Tim. Guys, with football this week, and for Liverpool, there's not much really going on. Other than you're 48 hours away from the transfer window ending, and there's still, I mean, I can't believe how quiet it's been, but there's still nothing on the Liverpool front, which I assume means that we're pretty much set on the squad at least for the summer. Going back to last year, winter transfer market with Van Dyke and Kaida and Coutinho. This is almost it's a nice break actually that we just sit back and watch all the other teams kind of struggle and all the rumors about everybody else. We just sit at the top of the league and watch everybody else panic. What's your guys' thoughts on that?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, we kind of expected this, I guess. I mean, the only thing was when obviously Trent went down with Gomez gone, Kleiny gone. There was, there was the possibility of them signing a right back, but looks like we have enough faith in Camacho. We're rolling with that. So I think we all kind of expected this, that nothing was going to happen, and it's probably the right thing to do. The Gomez thing is kind of like a downer, but hopefully if Trent comes back in time, kind of like scary going into this game with the possibilities and like possible injuries. Who's gonna play? Who's not gonna play? I mean, we talk about lineups before every game. This is probably the one that we have no idea on. Usually we can at least like agree on like 9 out of the 11 or something like that. But man, it feels like we're lucky to nail 5 or 6 out of the 11 for this game.
Yeah, I agree. We're not signing anyone, are we? Let's be honest. I think the teams that are doing well in the league are not signing anyone, even around Europe. The teams who are playing well or doing well in competitions are just not signing players because there's no need for it. So I think that's it's kind of how it is, really. With the injuries, I understand, the people's concerns by, especially in defence with the injuries, but I think he has enough faith in James Milner to do a job there if needed, and Rafa Camacho. So, yeah, for this game as well, Leicester, feels like a lifetime ago that we actually played, to be honest. Um, I'm actually quite excited for the game. I think a game under the lights at Anfield, especially after the City game, because I know they think they play tomorrow. Um, so I think we all know what we need to do. So, yeah, I'm actually really excited for this game, to be honest.
Yeah, it does definitely feel like a lifetime. I feel like it should be not an easy match, but we should handle Leicester. I don't see too much threat from them. But yeah, with City playing tomorrow at Newcastle, that would be a huge boost if Rafa could do us a favor and even take any of the points out of the match, and then we go in on Wednesday and knowing if we can go 7 points clear, at that point you almost see the finish line and you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. So it's getting down to the exciting part of the season now, where we can almost start counting the points and seeing what the magic number is for us to clinch the league.
You have to ask me and put me on the spot. How many points to win the league? I mean, 94, 93, 94. I think 10 wins, 3 draws, and 2 losses will probably win us the league. But that's because I don't see City winning every game. And that's another thing that people forget. With the 4-point gap, with the 2 losses, can City win 13 out of 15? Yes. With the fixtures they've got, with the Champions League and the FA Cup and the League Cup, not so sure. So I think 94 would win us the league.
Yeah, I think, we talk about this last one. I know 10 is kind of like on the iffy side for me. I would say like 11, 12. They seem like they're on a roll again, but I mean, you never know. It's kind of like, especially like Newcastle's a tough away game. I know, like, they don't have the best record, but it's a tough away game, tough place to play at. So, will they lose a point there? I mean, we just got to take care of business. I feel like this part of the schedule, for us, I mean, it's kind of like, you don't want to say easy games. No game is easy, obviously. But when you look at the schedule overall, easier games, I guess, games that we should be winning and getting the 3 points out of. You got to make sure you're locking the 3 points out of all these games so that, the games that are like trickier, where you might, draw or something like that, you don't suffer too much if you do draw them. And I do agree. I mean, I don't think City is winning all 15 games, especially with the game traffic they're going into. But better be safe than sorry. I mean, especially at Anfield, we should not be giving away any points.
Yeah, we got to. I think for me, we got to win every game until United. I think United's middle of February. I'm not sure if actually. I'm pretty sure we're still playing in the middle of February because of they got an FA Cup game, so I'm not 100% sure, depending on the TV. But we've got to win every game until that game, really. And then, if you're still 4 points clear, then you can afford to take the points at Old Trafford and move on, really. So, yeah, I think winning every game up until then's key.
Yeah, and the reports today out of Newcastle were that Rafa might be out sooner rather than later because he's disappointed that they didn't once again spend money in the transfer window. And even though his contract's due up in the summertime, they were saying he might just say the hell with it now and back out. The only plus for that now is maybe the team rallies around that and they stand up to City tomorrow and it's almost just like, all right, ownership's not going to do it. We're just going to do the best we can for ourselves and for our manager who's believed in us all season. And maybe they make a run at City tomorrow and help us out.
I back. To be honest, I'm backing. I think Newcastle gets something. I said that at the start in a couple of podcasts ago. So I don't think they'll win the next 4. And I now believe that Everton's being moved in between the Arsenal and Chelsea game. So they got, I believe, someone quote me if I'm wrong, Arsenal at home on the Sunday. They go to Wednesday, Everton. Then they go and play Saturday against Chelsea at home, City, at the start of February, because of the League Cup game. So with all that traffic coming up, I just can't see them winning these games, like all of them. And if they listen, as I said to you on the previous podcast, if they win all the games, you hold your hands up and go, fair enough. You deserve to win the league because of how you've done it. You know what I mean? And that's fair enough. But I think that Newcastle game's a really tough game, especially St James's Park under the lights. You know what I mean? If they get to 30 minutes and it's still 0-0, you get some faith into the fans and, a bit of belief, a couple of corners and free kicks, get the big guys up and all that. And then you just never know what can happen, really. But no, I think Newcastle can get something.
Yeah, I mean, City can be scored on. They've shown that they can be scored on. It's just usually they're the ones outscoring opponents. But let me ask you guys this. I mean, did you guys? I think I saw it on Echo, if I'm right. That game being moved up was presented as a fixture disadvantage for Liverpool. I mean, I guess if they win out all those games, that could be a disadvantage. But at the same time, like Cozzy's saying, which I agree too, that they're gonna lose points on one of those games, I would take that as an advantage for Liverpool, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I think it's great for Liverpool. I think it's great. I think play more games. Let them play more games, as many games as possible. It's a perfect little scenario. If City go and get 9 points off them 3 games, right, and then hold your hands up and go, yeah, you've done brilliant. Because Goodison Park's not easy. Yes, they're playing terrible at the moment, and they're awful. But it's not an easy game under the lights. Goodison Park for any team in the world. I don't care. They can give anyone a good beating on a midday. They can give anyone a good game. So I'm all for it. You look at the League Cup final now as well. They got to play Chelsea, so they can't go and play the kids there. They can't go and say, well, I'll rest 3 or 4. He wants to go and win that cup, of course, but it's not like he's playing a lower league side. It's not like he's playing Burton in the final, where they win 10-0 aggregate. It's not like that. So I'm all for it. I don't think I could have planned it perfect myself to play the Everton game in between them 2 big home games, because he has to really use his squad. We're going to check. That's when the fitness of Fernandinho is going to come in. Can you go and do the 3 in a week, and then go to the week after and go and play Schalke and do the 3 in a week again for me, and then the League Cup final? I think he's got like 7 games probably in February, 8 games. I think it's going to really test his squad. I understand they got a big squad, but I think it's a really big ask.
And it's the City at Newcastle tomorrow. They really haven't had a competitive match, it seems like, since they beat us 2-1. I mean, I'm looking back. They beat Rotherham 7-0, Burton 9-0, Wolves 3-0, Huddersfield 3-0, and then the second leg in the League Cup they ran through 1-0 then, but they beat Burnley 5-0. So they really haven't had pressure on them at all. They've just kind of been playing on cruise control. So like you guys said, if you get to maybe the half-hour mark and they haven't scored yet, and Newcastle's still in a match, I mean, it's been a while since they've been put in that position where, oh man, like we're up against it a little bit.
And I agree. And the thing is, all them results, people are going, oh, they score like 28 goals in 5, 6 games. But they should be scoring 28 goals against these sides. The Wolves
Right.
game, the team went down to 10 men in the first half, when they won 3-0. Because when I was watching it, Wolves in the game at 1-0 and then he got sent off, the guy, the defender, Foley. So, and then it was more of a procession, really, the second half. Wolves just kind of said, we're going to sit here and not get beat here, not get on the receiving end of a 5 or 6. And so, them kind of facts can be clouded, in my opinion. I just think if you get to 30 minutes for Newcastle and 0-0, Rafa tactically is a genius, and he'll know. I think he can sit there and go, I get to the hour mark, and it's still 0-0. Then he can make a little substitution, go, well, I need to win a game here, and there's a chance to beat them. He cannot keep playing Fernandinho starting every game. He just can't. In this build-up of games coming in the next 6 weeks, he just can't. He has to rest him in certain places. I just don't see where he's going to rest him. I just don't see where the guy's going to get his rest.
And that's why I think even if they are winning, I mean, if they win these games, it's important that they're not blowing people out so they don't get too comfortable where they can sub somebody out. So, Newcastle keeping it close, even if they do lose at the end, keeping Fernandinho and all these guys out there to be able to get that win. Yeah, I mean, these guys, you would think wear them down. I mean, by far they have the deepest squad and probably like the best quality squad in terms of depth in the league. But still, like a guy like Fernandinho, Aguero, I mean, they have certain guys that are still key, and their absence kind of like makes everything else kind of collapse. So, I mean, let's hope so. Like I say, I kind of like counted this game as like a game that City would win. But I agree, they have that game, and now they have like Everton sandwiched in between there. I feel like those 3 games, they're not getting 3 wins out of. Yeah. That's why when I saw that like Echo presented it as like a disadvantage, I kind of thought it was the other way around. I thought it was in our favor as long as, our prediction goes well and they do lose points on one of those 3 games.
But I think the Everton game as well. I know Everton are playing crap, and anytime I can dig out Everton, I will dig out Everton. But, I mean, Marco Silva is under a lot of pressure there, and he needs a big win. He needs a big win just to even get him back in the fans' good books. Because what happened on the weekend was atrocious for him. It was the worst thing that could have happened. And he needs that big win. He needs a statement to win. And Man City at home on a Wednesday under the lights, it just seems to me destined that the man's going to get a big win. If not, it could be his last kind of big game in the job. So, I'm happy with how the game's kind of panned out, really. And I'll be amazed if Fernandinho starts all of them in the next 6 weeks. Because, with the League Cup final, Schalke home and away, United, I'm not sure. I believe the United game might be getting moved, but Everton, Chelsea, Arsenal, Newcastle away. It's going to be tough for the man to keep going. And he's the only man who can play in that position for them. He's the only man who is at the level to play in that position. So he's the only one, as you've seen what happened at Christmas when he was injured and they lost 2 games. He's the only one that can kind of fill in and do it.
Yeah, I saw what was funny. I was on Twitter today. I saw a Man City fan trying to troll some Liverpool supporters about, like, we're the big club in England. We're still in all 4 competitions. And I'm like, good. Stretch yourself out. Go win the FA Cup. Go win the League Cup. And play every possible match. I hope all those matches go extra time. Go to PKs. Good. Play every competition you can. And, we'll sit back and we'll play Premier League. We'll be in the Champions League. We'll have a fresher squad. So, yeah, go play every match. Go play every minute. It's good for Liverpool.
I think it's great. I've seen the draw today. I think I can't remember who they got in the FA Cup, but I know it's a lower league team in the FA Cup again. So they got another easy draw again in the cup. And you go, well, you beat there, then you get the next game. Hopefully get a replay in that game. So you got to go and play another one. So I'm all for it. Keep playing games, guys. You keep playing games. Keep making your odd little mistakes here and there, your little trip ups. I'm all for it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we would love to win every trophy out there, but I just want them to win the important one, and that's probably the only advantage of dropping out of all these other cups. And I mean, hopefully, as we build up for next season, we will kind of like strengthen the squad to be able to carry more. I mean, it feels like I mean, with all these injuries that are kind of like, adding up now, and I think it's kind of like unlucky because they're all in the same positions. But I mean, thank God we're not in these other competitions because I don't know what we would do really.
Do you know what I think because they went away this week to Dubai, as you know. I think he's looked and went, listen, we've got 15 games left in the league. I think he said there's potentially 6 left in the Champions League. And I reckon they've all looked and went, fucking hell, we can play 21 games. Like, it's not, we're not asking to go and play 35 and then a World Cup. You know what I mean? Which is something that usually happens. They go, well, we've got, from this time now, if you're being successful, you're in 4 competitions, you've got to go and play, 28, 29, then there's a World Cup on the horizon. There's no World Cup. There's no Copa de Lores and all that. It's just literally, this is it. There's 21 games. That's it if you want to go and win the Champions League as well. So it's not a lot of games left. In that case, of course, 15 in the league, which is not a lot of games, but it's only 6 now to win the Champions League. Well, sorry, 7 to be in the final. So I think he's actually sat down with them again this week and went, I still think you guys have got another gear to go to. Because I think all of us as Liverpool fans believe that this team can go up another gear. And it's time, really, if you want to go that gear, you want to go that extra notch, let's do it.
Yeah. Speaking of Dubai, it was came out. I saw a video that Ox is actually now out participating in some late ball work, out with the team now, just not training by himself. So it really seems like no matter how much Klopp keeps downplaying his return and when it's going to be, it really seems all signs are pointing that he's really, really close now. I mean, it's on the horizon where you could see Ox coming to this team within the next 4 to 6 weeks, maybe, which would be huge. And I mean, if you get him back, like we talked about before, then you get Gomez back, and everybody gets healthy at the right time. I mean, that's huge. I mean, going forward, you get somebody like who Ox, yeah, he's coming back from a knee injury, but he hasn't had minutes put on his legs this year. So yeah, he's coming back from a serious knee injury. But I mean, in terms of it, like he should be fresh, and I mean, his adrenaline has to be through the roof. This first time he comes on, even if it's the last 10 minutes of a match just to get him out there. He should be raring to go. And he could be the player that really puts us over the edge in Champions League and the Premier League going forward.
Oh man, yeah, having him back would be huge. I mean, I would put him in the lineup as the third midfielder every single time, really. Especially, I mean, the way we have it now, I feel like Hando and Fabinho play really well together. I mean, especially when we take on big teams in like the Champions League and stuff like that. I think that's like a really sturdy defensive midfield with those two acting as like defensive midfielders, and you put Ox to kind of like still be that, give you that work rate in midfield and then provide, for the guys up front, the 3 up front, that would be huge. So let's hope so. I mean, everything sounds like mid-February to end of February. I think hopefully we'll see him, making appearances like a 10-minute, 15-minute substitution appearances in a couple of weeks here. And I mean, that would be huge. I think it's exactly what this team needs. A great story would be for him. We were talking about last podcast. I mean, if he scores that all important goal in like the clincher, I mean, the kid deserves it. So I mean, hopefully, the sooner the better, really.
Yeah, I think of this change of formation when we play 4-2-3-1, he's so adaptable across the midfield that he can kind of play anywhere across it in that formation. In a 4-3-3, he's a great third option coming in from like a number 8 role. But I think in a 4-2-3-1 would suit him a lot more. And I think he can kind of swap places as well with other players. I think he's very interchangeable. So he's really, really handy just to have around the squad anyway, because he can play like 5 or 6 different positions. You probably, you can play him in the front 3 if you wanted to. You can play him in the number 8 and number 10. So I'm all for, he's a top player, of course, and he's been missed. But I think in this new formation, if you put him even as a number 10, bursting through late with the ball, with his pace, when it's kind of an eye for the pass, I think it could be kind of key for Liverpool. Of course, I'm not expecting to see that this year. It's more likely going to be next year when he's going to be starting games week in, week out. But, he's a great option to have as well, especially around the squad. So, no, I'm all for it, really. As soon as he's back, the better.
So looking ahead a little bit to Wednesday with some of these injuries, it almost seems like depending on which link you click on, you get, I've seen today that Trent may be back Wednesday. He still may be out another week. Genie practiced on Friday. They still don't know about him. And then the latest one I saw today was that Van Dijk has an illness that he picked up in Dubai. Klopp played it off from going to the cold weather from Liverpool to the warm weather in Dubai and then back to the weather in Liverpool. So to me, that almost sounds like a sinus infection or like just a basic everyday cold. And I can't see, a cold keeping somebody like Van Dijk out of the lineup. So I don't know if it's just people are just trying to float stuff out there to get a reaction, to get clicks on it. Because the one I saw was fitness out for Van Dijk against Leicester City. Then you click on it, and it seems like he's diagnosed with a cold. But if it is more serious than that, and Van Dijk is out, I guess that means we go with Lovren and Matip in the.
Fuck me.
Defense.
Fuck's sake. It's had a fucking heart attack. What are you doing to me, man? Don't say things like that.
I'm just saying, it doesn't seem serious. But, they basically make it sound like a cold because they said Fabinho had the same thing, and he was a full participant in training. So I think it was one of those things that you just flip out Van Dijk maybe in doubt, ahead of Leicester, and then you get to click, and then you're like, all right, cool.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So,
yeah. I seen when you say Lovren and Matip together, man, it just fucking gives me heart palpitations. Thinking about it. It's fucking literally a mistake waiting to happen in it, let's be honest. No, I've seen it myself. He's got a bit of a sniffle, hasn't he? Well, come on, fella. In a bit of a title run here, mate. No offence, Verge. But unless you've got a cast on that leg, mate, you're playing. Because trust me, the options coming from behind you is not favourable. I don't think, to be fair, I think he'd play Fabinho or Matip, but I'm not sure if he trusts Eggsy anymore to even put him back in. So the other thing with Verge as well, which we've all kind of got to take into consideration, he is suspended for the first leg of the Champions League. So that's another little break he's going to get. So Verge, just do us a favour, fella. Get us there. Get us. You can have your little week off there, and then you're back in the firing line. But please, I'm going to bed soon, and I don't want to be having nightmares of Lovren and Matip in the centre half of Liverpool anymore. Oh my god.
But in Lovren's defense, I did see that his perjury charges in Croatia were dropped, so maybe that gives him a boost. Now that he knows that's done and taken care of, maybe now he can focus 100% back on football. So maybe that might help him a little bit. I don't know how much that played into him, some of his lapses, but that has to be a huge relief, knowing that the federal perjury charges are off the books against you.
He's fucking mad, isn't he? He's fucking mad, isn't he? He's a proper mad centre back, isn't he? He's got so many fingers and so many pies, man. He's just concentrate on your football, Deggsy. I've said in this podcast before, I like Dejan Lovren as a defender. I think he's a good defender. He's just not good enough for Liverpool. That's the thing. If he played for Everton, he'd be brilliant. I'm not saying that as a disrespectful. I'm saying played in the bottom 7 of the teams, like Leicester, like Harry Maguire, for example, he'd be brilliant. He's the best player there. But he's just not he's not good enough for Liverpool. And the other thing for us, we just cannot rely on him. Maybe he had this thing over his head, and maybe that's, and that's fair enough. I get that. But, we're coming into the business end of the season now. For Liverpool, it's the biggest last 4 or 5 months in the part of our league that we've ever had. Because people forget in 13-14, we kind of ran really in the title race like the end of March, start of April, when Chelsea fucked it, and Liverpool went on and won 11 games. So this is massive for Liverpool, and we need every defender we can at the moment. So if Deggsy, if he's there and he's available, he's a great option. I'm just not sure, because of Fabinho's recent performances, that you're going to put him straight back in.
Yeah, unless he's on like an IV or something like that, like a major flu, Van Dijk has to be out there, right? I don't think he would not play with like the sniffles, like you say. I think it's kind of like a story being made, or maybe something that Liverpool is getting out there for, like to confuse the opponents, whatever it is. But you would think, especially with us playing, Camacho at right back, probably we need Van Dijk out there. In terms of Lovren, like for this game, I think I'd rather have Matip out there, because I think he, for teams that are going to come at us, I think Lovren is better. For teams that are going to kind of sit back, I'd rather have Matip, because I think I like the way he brings the ball up from defense when that space is given a lot better than Lauren, because Lauren is like kind of like all over the place. Whereas Matip, like Van Dijk, can bring the ball up with the dribble when the space is given and they kind of like backtracking. So at any home game, I think I'd rather have Matip out there, especially a home game like this, where you would kind of expect Leicester City to kind of like sit and hope for a counter. So, but especially like I say with a right back position the way it is, it would be extremely scary. You might as well throw Mignola in there too and just give it like a full blown heart attack for defense.
Yeah, I was like, how'd you say his name? I can't get over them. But I mean, no, with Dykesy, I just don't want to see Jamie Vardy and Dejan Lovren together, because Jamie Vardy would be kicking him, he'd be running off him, and he's just a mistake waiting to happen. And that's no disrespect to the lad. I think if Virgil's playing alongside him, I think Virgil can kind of wind him in and go, don't be a dick. But he is susceptible to a mistake. He is. We all know that. He's done it before, and he's probably going to do it again because that's the kind of player he is. But I think in this game, even if he's fit, I think it's got to be Matip. And then if not, I think it's got to be Fabinho. I actually think he's dropped that further down, to be honest. I actually think if you'd asked Jurgs now to like put them in order, I think you'd go Verge, Joe Gomez, Matip, Fabinho, and Lovren, because I don't think he can trust him. I think that Wolves game's been a really big hit for Jurgen on him. I think he's thought, right then, if I can't get you on the pitch, there's no point in having you in effect. So I think that's where he kind of is on the pecking order at the moment.
I mean, so speaking of Gomez, all signs pointed that he was supposedly going to come back to training this week or next. But they said he suffered a minor setback. They didn't say what it was, but Klopp in the press conference did say when they had the scan, they thought it was just a fracture, and there was a little bit more there to what they thought. So I don't know whether it's a little ligament damage to the knee, to the ankle. He didn't let on for that. But that's kind of a hit. Expecting Gomez to be back, and then now his training, his start to training gets pushed back even a couple of weeks, which you figure has to push back his return to the side. It would have been, this would have came out a week or two ago, and maybe you can make a depth signing at center back instead of now, 2 days left. You just have to kind of go with you have and just hold on until we get healthy.
I mean, yeah, it's the Gomez thing is pretty like that was probably like the biggest downer of the week, really, when I heard that, because I mean that's when I had full confidence the moment we had the lead that we were not going to get scored on. When you had Van Dijk and Gomez and there with Trent on the side and Robertson on the other side, I mean, that was probably the most solid we were on D. So now, like, as we patch up different spots, I mean, I would feel a lot better having somebody like Gomez with his speed and recovery speed and everything like that, being, next to Van Dijk when we have a fill-in right back like Milner or Camacho or whoever. I mean, sounds like Trent will be back soon, so I think that will kind of like solve that problem. I mean, it's almost sounds like based on the press conference that Trent will be available for next game, not for like they're gonna play it safe this week and then he'll be available for next game. And like Cozzy says, I mean, these are crucial games, so I know we don't want to risk players and all that kind of stuff. But shit, there's like 15 games left, so it's like until when do we play it safe? It's almost like if they can play, these guys should go out and play, is what I would say. Maybe not for Trent, because his replacement is nowhere to be found. But any of the other guys, if they're close to being able to play, unless we have a perfect replacement for them, they should be out there playing. These games are like key right now. I know there's so many weeks to go and stuff like that, but every 3 point you get puts more pressure on City, takes a bit more hope away from City. So it's crucial. And yeah, we would like to have him in like 6 weeks, 7 weeks and stuff too. But if we roll these 3 points back to back to back, like Cozzy is saying, till we go to Old Trafford, I really think we're going to extend this lead. And if the lead is extended, then yeah, let's play it safe then if we need to. But I think these 2-3 weeks are crucial in terms of getting the 3 points to keep like City at bay.
Yeah, with the Joe Gomez thing, I just don't think he wants to get people's hopes up. You know what I mean? I think it was like the Oxlade-Chamberlain thing. He's going to be out all next season. Now he's back now. Do you know what I mean? If he goes, he's going to be back in 2 weeks. He doesn't come back in 6 weeks. You get fans asking consistently and reporters. Do you know what I mean? So I just don't think he wants to get anyone's hopes up. I think he's just like, take your time, no rush. Do you know what I'm saying? yeah, I think anyone who's got like his little doubts, for example, like Virgil, for example, he's a bit of a doubt. Say, I think it all depends on the City result. And I know that sounds a bit like, a bit amateur in the way he's going to be thinking, but I think he thinks to himself, well, if City lose, we get it. Do I kind of squeeze, for example, an extra attacker on and try and win this game, or does he just back his team anyway? Or if City win, does he go like, we'll just stick to the game plan? I was expecting them to win anyway. Do you know what I mean? Whatever he says or not, right? He's looking at City's results. Whether of course they are. They're just never going to say it. So I think he looks and goes, well, say for example he sets his game plan out. He's got his team in his head. City go out and lose tomorrow, and he's like, they'll play instead of playing 4-3-3, they can play 4-2-3-1, get Shaqiri on. You know what I mean? And then number 10 and try and get Salah down the middle then and try and go. That's what I'm going to try this a bit different. Even for example, say if Daniel he's got a bit of a knock. Daniel, can you get on the bench for me and give me 15 in case I need you? Do you get what I'm saying? I think it all depends. It could kind of have a bearing on what he's thinking.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I think you don't want to manage your team based on another team's result, but
yeah, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, you know what I mean. If, for example, if he goes to Verge, if Verge sees the result and goes, I can play, I'll get through you this. You know what I mean? I can do, I'll do the 90. If he's expecting a Newcastle, if he's expecting a City win, he'll go, you know what, they're going to win. Fuck it, I'm just saying, he might just think of his little doubts in that he has in his mind. Can I get Shaqiri extra on the pitch, or try and win this game as soon, as early as possible, and then you can bring Van Dijk off the field. You get what I mean? So,
right,
if City win the game and they're point clear, he might go, I need Virgil for the 90, play the 4-3-3, and he might go, fucking hell, Newcastle done us a favour. I might try and win this game early and bring Virgil off. Do you get what I mean?
Right.
I think that could be in his head. Listen, whether he admits it or not, as I said, they are watching City results. We have fucking teams of specialists sitting there studying Man City. I'm not studying their results because that's the job. So, I just think little things like that. If you go to Daniel, got a bit of a knock, and Daniel you go, can you get me 15 if I need you tonight? You know what I mean? If it's 1-1. Little things like that, that's all I'm saying.
That's a good question, actually. I mean, that's a good debate right there. Like, if City somehow loses points to Newcastle tomorrow, then do we really play it safe on everybody and just put Adam out there and like go with it that way in midfield and stuff like that, or do we just say, okay, here's our opportunity, go full out on whoever can play out there out of our top lineup and extend that lead to 7? That's like a good dilemma for Klopp. Thank God it's a decision we don't have to make, but obviously it all depends on Newcastle stealing points from City. But yeah, that's kind of like an interesting way to go, like which way he would choose to go, or he would go somewhere in between.
I think if City drop points, if say they lose tomorrow, and then we can win and go 7 points clear, I think you have to do that, and then that makes City have to be perfect the rest of the way. I think you want to deflect the pressure back to them. And it's like because you said before, make them win the league. Don't have us lose the league to them. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, you went out, cool. You tip your hat to them, fair play. You guys deserved it, but make them have to earn it and don't hand nothing back to them.
Exactly, and that's what I'm thinking. All I'm saying is that if Newcastle do the favour, it might just change his little thinking with, like, for example, Virgil. I think I'm going to get Shaqiri on here. We'll get 3-0 up inside the first half, and I think about taking him off on the 70. I think, I don't think City are going to win 15. I know I've said that. I just think he might look and go, you guys have got all these games with the Fernandinho, with Liverpool and how we are. We are the ones, if you offer Pep Guardiola a position, now what position would you ever be in? City's or Liverpool? He's only going to take one, and it's ours. You know what I mean? And I agree with Hooch there. Make them win the league. If they go and win 15 games and win the league, and they win the league by a point, they finish on, I don't know, what would it be, 108 points or something daft like that. And Liverpool finish on 104. What can you do? You hold your hands up and go, yeah, that's it. Fair enough. You know what I mean? Or whatever. I don't know what the figures are, to be honest, but that's the kind of, if Liverpool get 93 points this season, 94 points, don't win the league, can we be disappointed in effect? Of course, we hard not winning the league. I get that. If you get 94 points, what more can the dance do? Do you get what I mean? You know, any other season that wins the league, apart from last. So it'll be a tough one to take. But all I can be is proud of the lads if they get to that and then don't win the league. So I think he looks and goes. He'll have looked at the result tomorrow, and I think he'll sit there with Pep Linders and think, I might play 4-2-3-1 here and get Shaq on the pitch and go to Shaq. Go ahead, you know what I mean? You know, Verge. You know, I'll try and get it off in the 70 if we're comfortable. You know, I think if he looks at, you know, Trent, I know he's meant to be back in a week. He might go to 10. Can you play a 70 for me here now? You know what I mean? And I just think it might just change his thinking slightly.
Yeah, like I said, I feel like you go all out, and basically, like I say, at this point, there is with the number of games that's left. Uh, this guy is at 85-90%. If he's part of your like ideal lineup for that game, you kind of trot him out there and get every 3 points you can. Especially if you're going with Cozzy's prediction in 10 games. I mean, let's get these 3 points while we can, and then worry about it afterwards. Which is something Klopp talks about all the time. Game at a time, game at a time. And if that's the case, if Van Dijk can play, you should be out there. If Fabinho can play tomorrow, I mean, on Wednesday, I probably would rather see him at right back. But like I say, we should just go all out right now. And I do agree. Yeah, I mean, let's not lose it, make City earn it. But heck, man, I mean, it's under our control right now. I think that would be like acceptable to me if we were behind, if we were the chasers. But man, we have the lead. And 4 points, is more than a game lead. I feel like we just go all out. Whoever can play goes out there and plays, and then we worry about the next game when the next game comes up.
Let me ask you a question, guys. Right? Let me ask you a question. How many points do you think it takes to win the league this year?
You want to have a crack at that one first, Tim?
I agree with Cozzy. 93. I'd say between 93 to 95, 96-ish. Just based on the matches they have left compared to ours. Mm-hmm. So they're going to drop more points than we are. So we do have that leeway, I believe, for the rest of the season. They still got. I think we talked about this. Tottenham, Arsenal. They still have United. They have a much tougher stretch. So it kind of lessens the burden on us. But yeah, if we get 93, 94, somewhere in there, that should hopefully be enough.
You know me, okay. I'm the pessimist. I would say 96.
Okay, so you say 96.
Yeah.
So I say 93, 94. That's only so say it's 93. That's only 10 wins and 3 draws. So my 10 wins is not far away. So you think it's 96? It's only 11 wins. Sorry, 12 wins and 3 losses.
You That's know what I mean? I'm at, yeah. And I don't see this team losing 3 games, mind you.
No chance.
So yeah, I mean, I think but there'll be draws here and there. I mean, there might be a loss here and there too. I just don't see them losing 3. I mean, there'll be like a draw and stuff like that. I think in my head, to be comfortable, I feel like we gotta win 12 games or 11 games and 3 draws, whichever way you look at it.
Yeah, exactly. So we're not far. We're all in the same ballpark. It just sounds really crazy when I say 10 and people go, oh, wow. And you're like, well, 10 gets you to 90.
But then you got 5 games saying it, that's why.
But you know what I'm saying, no, Tim? 10 gets you to 90 and you got 5 to go. You know what I mean? Then you go, oh, fucking hell. You never know, you know what I'm saying? I'm saying it's 93. That 93, 94 wins the league. And if City get 96, they get 96. But I think I just can't see it happening. I don't see it happening. I think if Liverpool win 10 games, and say if Liverpool win 10 and lose 1, lose 2, I think we'll win the league. So yeah, I think 10 out of 15 it's close enough to being, of course I'd like Liverpool to go and win 4-0 for the next 15 games, and I'm sitting here comfortable in the start of April trying to book my flight back for when I can go see the lads come home with the trophy. But I don't think it's going to be as easy as that because Liverpool never do it easy. So
who plays tomorrow? I mean Wednesday. I keep saying tomorrow. I know why. I wish it was tomorrow. I just want to get out of the way. But who plays? So who do you guys think plays on Wednesday?
Good, Cozzy. You handle it.
And hopefully not Lovren and Matip.
Your lane goal.
Yeah, Alberto Moreno. Oh, God, it's getting great. This is wonderful, isn't it? Having nightmares. Yeah, the back four, I think he goes. It's tough, really, because he has, I think, is it Milner suspended? So he has
Yeah,
Milner
Miller's
suspended for this
suspended.
game. I think he probably might play Fabinho right back. I think he might do that. I think if it's Matt Van Dijk, Robbo, Henderson, and then I'll back Keita. I know he hasn't played well, but I'd back him. Keita, Shaqiri, and I'll play the front three. Or Genie. If Genie's fit, I'd probably play Genie over Shaqiri. But, yeah, I think that's going to be the defence anyway. I think Fabinho will probably play right back.
I'm with you on the back four. I think it's Robbo, Van Dijk, Matip, and Fabinho does get to start it right back. I think the midfield, maybe you do, yeah, sketch my notes. I was thinking it's either Hendo and Shaqiri, and then for that other midfield spot, either Keita or maybe this is one of those matches where you look to Lallana and say, you know what, go, it's your turn. Go out, give me 70, 75, run through, just run your ass off for 75 minutes. We'll get you. At some point, he does have. I mean, you're not.
Yeah.
He can't keep coming into the end matches. You know, as a cameo. He has to earn his pay check 1 week. So maybe this is a week where you say, you know what, you're not a nailed on midfield. Maybe this is a week where you say, go make something happen. Just go run, go press, do what you do, make a play, and go with that. If he's not having it at halftime or 50, 60th minute, maybe bring on Qaeda. I know he's not great coming off the bench, but maybe this is a match where you look at Lawan and say, it's up to you, bro. Go handle it.
Yeah, it's a good shout. I still think he has to start him in certain games. He has to start Daniel, and he has to start Lallana in certain home games. And say, okay, you know, I think it's not a bad effort, to be honest. I think the Lallana, I actually quite like the idea, just to get him minutes, because we are going to need him, whether we like it or not. Liverpool aren't going to need him. You know, we are going to eventually have to lean on him, especially, you know, with the end of the season coming up and with Keita blowing hot and cold. You know, I think he could be a big player for us if he's fit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think, we're going to need those guys, but I'd rather wait till, like end of this month, for example, maybe against like Watford or something like that, and use them there and still make their cameo appearances. If Genie doesn't play on Wednesday and sounds kind of iffy, I almost feel like he'll be on the bench. I think we start Camacho on the right hand side and then put Fabinho, Hendo, and then Keita just to have Shaqiri be able to come off the bench. So ideally Matip, like I said. So Van Dijk, Matip, Camacho, Robertson, Hendo, and Fabinho, along with Keita, and obviously the front three. That way, you still have Genie who can come off the bench and Shaqiri who can come off the bench, like to change things around if need be. And I think, a natural right back in that position will be fine as long as the other three are, our original defense, rather than putting Fabinho out of position. And then, obviously, especially if Genie is unavailable and Milner is not there, that only leaves Hendo as a defensive midfielder. So I feel like we will still see Fabinho in midfield as opposed to right back.
I think it's just going to come down to who's fit and who he thinks he can get, who Klopp thinks he can get the most out of for the most amount of time. Somebody's going to have to. I mean, the front three's been doing brilliant. But you need, and Shaq's chipped in, but you need a Keita or Lallana, somebody like that who was pegged for a bigger role in the club for this season. Even get a goal. If you say Lallana starts tomorrow and he gets the game-winning goal at Leicester, and this is the only thing he does all year. But Liverpool win the league by 3 points, like the Origi goal against Everton. I mean, you could look at Lallana and say you scored one goal this season, but you'll go down forever as a Liverpool. If this team wins the league this year, everybody on the club goes down as a legend. Whether you played 90 minutes, whether you played 10 minutes, you're going to write your name in the history book. So you look at Lallana and say, go write your name. Here's a history book. Go sign it. Just go do it.
I think the thing is as well, to win the league, you need your squad. Of course, you need a squad of 20 players. That's what's let Liverpool down in our last two title pushes, in my opinion, as well. The squad's never been good enough. a good 11, but the squad's been poor overall. And you look at famous moments, and you look at, I remember in 09 when United had that Federico Makeda, and he came on, 17-year-old kid, and he scored the winner against Aston Villa. And then he plays him on the Wednesday night, and they win 1-0 at Sunderland, I think, and he scored the winner. And you're like, I think that was start of April. Liverpool were in the title challenge with them, and he was no one. But he's had that Aston Villa moment where he basically won in the league. He took him away from Liverpool in that moment. I remember when Chelsea won the league a couple of years ago at West Brom, Batshuayi scored the winner. He was never Conte's biggest fan, and they've never been a fan of each other. He's never really worked out in the Premier League, but he's got, so your squad's about moments, and you need to rely on these players. They need to come up and do a job when you need them. Okay, you might not be starting, but we're going to need you for 15 games this season, 10, 12 games. We need you. It's whether you're like sitting on the bench or not. You're a Liverpool Football Club squad player, and you're getting paid to do a job. Now, you can sit there, and these guys can moan, or you can apply yourself. So, for example, that if you look at Sturridge and you look at Lallana, because they're the two biggest options, because the reason why I always come back to them is because they're our best options off the bench, apart from Shaqiri, really. They're our best options. Look who's ahead here on the pitch. Who's in your positions? Because there's not many, so you look at Daniel, and you go, look at that front three, because there's not many better in the world than that front three. You know what I mean? And you're the fourth choice. Lallana, look at that midfield, the attacking number 10s, really, that what we've got, the options we have. And when Oxlade-Chamberlain comes back, we've got top quality options, and every time we've needed you, you've been injured, mate. You know what I mean? So it's time for you to start replaying Liverpool now. Come back for us, help us, because we're going to need you. And I think Lallana, in his cameos, he's come on. I know I give him a bit of a fair, an unfair criticism, because I think he's got talent. That's what frustrates me about the man. I think he's really, really talented. And that's why I'm like, I'm kind of a critic of this, because I'm like, well, we need you now, Dan. We can have all the talent in the world, but if you're not fit, Adam, there's no point in being here. You know what I mean? And that's why I'm a critic, because I want to see him on the pitch. I don't want to see Alberto Moreno on the pitch. Let me just say that for nothing, right? I'm not his face fan. That's an easy conversation for you. But you know what I mean? It's fucking frustrating. So I'm actually with you, Hooch, now when you've had to think about it. Lallana, you've had 10 days, getting more fitness. You've been to Dubai. You've been working on squad shape and, where you're going to be and things like that. So let's start seeing it over the next 6 games. We need you for 3 of them. Whether it's going to be set, a start, whether it's going to be half an hour here and there, but we need you now. With the Chamberlain coming back, because I'll tell you one thing: if he's not fucking in this side by the start of March, the middle of March, and Chamberlain's fit, he's never getting back in. That's his other problem. He's never getting back on the bench. So, mate, you've got fucking 6-8 weeks, mate, to book your ideas up. And I understand that comes across as harsh, because I really like him and I think he's really talented. And I think he can do actually a really good job for Liverpool. But if you're not fit, you can be Lionel Messi, mate. But if you're not fit, you can't play. So, you know what I mean? It doesn't make any difference. So, now I like the idea of Hooch, actually, and I'm actually all for it. Actually, you kind of convince me that Adam has to start the game soon.
Yeah, it's like the old saying goes, the best ability is availability. So yeah, you have all the talent in the world, but if you're always hurt, you don't do anybody good on the bench, in your warm up suit. So yeah, he needs to play. He needs to make a contribution, and like you said, sooner rather than later, because everybody's getting on a train, and he may be stuck at the station holding Ox's luggage, so to speak.
Yeah, I think in a perfect world, I would rather, gain a comfortable lead, be up by 2 or 3, and, bring those guys in and just rest the front 3 or somebody in midfield and stuff like that, as opposed to, I just feel like starting him is pretty darn risky. Which, I agree with Cozzy. I think the guy has tremendous quality. And I think he fits that, quick passing in front of the box and everything perfectly for this team to create, especially against a closed-up defense. But I don't know. I feel like, if we're going to try to get some playing minutes and improve the quality and morale of somebody, I'd rather go with Keita. He hasn't performed either, but get Keita out there and, have him do his thing. And hopefully one of these games he'll break through. And if he doesn't, you always have Shaqiri to come off the bench to kind of, liven things up if need be.
I agree on I agree on that as well. I think, I keep saying we have to start Keita. We have to say to him, this is the next 5, 6 games. He's had another few days rest. He's had more time to learn the system. Out in Dubai and on the training field, you've had more time, to get yourself accustomed with the team and the players. In like probably the biggest break we've had since the start of the season, apart from internationals. So, there's got to be, as I say, there's got to be a moment where we need these players. We need you now. 15 games to go, guys. You know what I mean? It's been nice and fucking easy for you. Sitting on the bench for 18 months, for like having Lallana being injured basically now for 18 months. Bear in mind as well, before he got that bad injury, I think it was 2016, he was brilliant. When he was fit, I think we went to Middlesbrough, we won 3-0 away, and he was brilliant. He's our best player. And I think we got the winner at Norwich and things like that. That 12 months, he was really good. But, Daniel Sturridge was really good in 2014. It was 5 years ago. You know what I mean? So it's like, guys, 15 games to go. We're in a title challenge. Whether it's 20 minutes here and there, we'll sort your contract bullshit out at the end of the season. You want to leave then and get more game time, that's fine. But right now, it's time for business. And we're in a title challenge.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. You're not asking them to go out and play 90 minutes every week, but you have to look at it like basically this 11's done the job. They've done it all season. You're looking at like Lallana kind of like, listen, you just need to step up. We're not asking you to go out there and be the best player in the world, and carry this team. Just go out there and put in a solid performance and just pull your weight. Do your job. One a game here and there, a half here and there. We're not asking you to carry the squad. Just go out there and make a contribution. And then, like I said, you win the league and you're a part of this team. You're threat. You go down in history. Especially the way I think the points that Liverpool's going to end up with this year to win the league. You're going to look back and say this is one of the best, like you said, one of the best leagues of all. Then to win that league, I mean, you're in the history books for all time. I mean, you'll walk into a pub and never have to pay for a drink again in Liverpool if you win a league this year.
I know. It's just I don't know. It frustrates me. It frustrates me, lads, that we can't even rest one of our front three. Really, you know what I mean? Because I'm always for dropping one and starting two and getting one in. It's fucking criminal. It's criminal that we can't rest our front three. That we can't rely on Sturridge and Lallana. You know what I mean? And Shaqiri's been out of form really for like a month. It's criminal that we can't rest them. Divock kind of maybe is earned to start because he played okay against Wolves. He got a nice goal. It's fucking criminal. That, for example, when you look at our biggest rivals, they've got Jesus scoring goals now. He can rest Aguero at any time he wants. Their best player, the best attacker at least. You know what I mean? And they have options off the bench, but it's criminal that our drop-off is so big from our front three. It really is criminal. And, if Liverpool don't win this league, that's life. But we can look back and evaluate the season. We can look and go, the drop-off is too big. We couldn't rely on them. So we've had to run Mane and Bobby into the ground. You know what I mean? And we've had to run them. With Mo coming from the World Cup and his injury in the Champions League final when he wasn't fit for most of the season, we've had to run them in the ground because we couldn't get them a week off. Because every time I looked at my bench, one was fucking either sick, one couldn't run. You know what I mean? One was out of form. It's criminal that we can't rest one. I'd love to. You know what? Right? Honestly, if I seen a team sheet on Wednesday and I go, fucking hell, he's started the Origi instead of Mane, or he started the Origi instead of Firmino, I'll go, right, fucking hell. You know what I mean? At least he's getting another break. Fair enough, he just come off a 10-day break. That's a different story altogether. But I'm just using it as an idea of like, it's criminal that we can't. It's criminal that we say, sorry guys, but you three have got to go again. Okay, yes, do you want to play football? I get that. But it's also we've got a derby in a few weeks. It'd be nice to get a little resting before then. No, we can't. You know what I mean? It's just criminal. And it could be something that maybe, if Liverpool don't win this league, it's something that has to be looked at. That the front three will get them ran into the ground. For 2 seasons straight, by the way. 2 solid seasons straight, ran into the ground.
I think the challenge with that is, I almost feel like that is not going to improve unless we win the league. Because it's kind of hard to get somebody
I agree.
of top quality to come into your roster if you don't have to win. And that's what like City had going, to be able to get a guy like Mahrez to come over, knowing he's probably going to come off the bench or he's not going to start all the time. He has to compete against like Sterling and Sané and stuff because, you're joining a winning team and you're going to get trophies. So I almost feel like if we do not win, it's going to be even harder to get somebody. Whereas if we do win, it almost makes it slightly easier to get somebody to come in of high profile and say, hey, become a part of the squad, as opposed to, if you're a player and Liverpool wants to sign you, you look at the front three, you're like, well, am I going to start? Probably not. So you're going to probably shy away from that, especially the trophies are not semi guaranteed, or that you're definitely going to be in the running for it. So I think that's why it's even more important that we win this thing this year, to be able to do that over summer. So not just like rely on, like, young
Yeah.
signings that's, sign some off profile, like, Timo Werner or somebody like that can come in and be a top quality. So you have 3 out of 4 you're selecting, as opposed to you're selecting three and then you're trying to like patch up the rest.
No, I
No,
agree. It's hard to bring in a younger player who's in the prime of his career, who wants to be showcased, and say like, yeah, we're going to sign you, but you're not going to get the starts. You're going to play the cup ties. You're going to be a squad. You're going to be a rotation player. You need to look at maybe somebody a little bit older who's won trophies, who'd be okay with coming off the bench, starting here in a name I come back to, and this might sound crazy, but Luis Suarez. If you look
yeah,
at him in the summer and try to work something out, I don't know what his contract situation is, but a player like Suarez, who he's won the Champions League, he's won every trophy there is in Spain. He's 33, 34, a player like that who's established, who you can bring in and say, listen, we're not going to rely on you week in and week out, but here's what we expect from you. A professional, when you come in, you play. But somebody maybe who's won it all, who doesn't need to be there every week to get the next big contract. He's made his money. He's won his trophies. Maybe a player like that who wants to come in and just pad his legacy a little bit more.
I think, yeah, of course, in hindsight, someone like that would be brilliant. You know what I mean? 32, 33 on, maybe on the downturn. It doesn't scream like a Jurgen signing, but when the quality of if that kind of player comes up, then of course we're going to look at it. And I agree with what Tim's saying. The level of the drop off can change if we win the league. But what I'm saying is, though, that them players that we have, with Origi, with Sturridge, with Shaqiri, with Lallana, they have got the quality. That's what's fucking frustrating. They have got the quality where you can look and go, well, I can rest them for them. Huddersfield at home, or Leicester at home. Even Leicester, it's all right, yeah, there's been a 10-day break. Fuck that. I'm saying, if they would have played on the weekend, why can't we? Why can't we start in the league? That's what's frustrating. We can't, why do we need to keep starting these three lads week in, week out against teams that we should be beating at home? You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying, is that these lads that we do have on the bench are talented enough to do the job, but they're not playing like they're talented enough. All right, fair enough. I give Lallana a pass because of his injuries, but I can still be frustrated with him. But Daniel, when he came on in the last couple of months, Wolves, he was terrible at Wolves. You know what I mean? He's been a bit like, doesn't really want to be there kind of thing, you know what I mean? And the attitude doesn't look right. With Divock, he kind of applied himself well. He's got a good goal, fair enough. Shaqiri's been out of form. These lads have got the quality enough where we can rest one of the front three. I'm not saying let's change all three. I'm saying let's just change the one. You know what I mean? Let's just pull one out for the week and go to Sadio. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. We're gonna battle on two fronts. We're gonna battle for the Champions League as well. And you know what? We should be able to fucking beat these at home before the Champions League game with just two of them. You know what I mean? Yeah, Mo, you're gonna rest here, fella, on this Saturday because I want to play you Wednesday away at Bayern Munich or whatever it is, or at home. It's just frustrating. That's all, because these players have got the ability, but they're just not playing like it.
I think part of the reason for that is, and that's probably the only crappy part about, dropping out of all these competitions early, is these guys have almost no playing time or no rhythm when they do come in or when they do end up starting. So out of nowhere. And obviously, they're the ones who didn't help themselves out. Obviously, they were the ones out there losing to get eliminated from the League Cup and FA Cup and everything. But I think that's part of the part of the reason is they're not getting as much game time. So like so any game that we would want them to start and contribute are high intensity games. It's a league game, it's a Champions League game, and it almost feels like they're just not ready for that, or Klopp does not trust them to have that intensity starting right off the bat because they do not have game time. So it's kind of like a vicious cycle, unfortunately. And getting eliminated from the cup. That was probably like the only downfall of it. I mean, it's been great in terms of being able to get these guys rest and stuff like that. The starters, but at the flip side of that thing is you're not able to develop your players, like the young guys and stuff like that. And like you say, yeah, they're the ones who lost to start with. But I
Hmm.
think that's like the crappy part of it is we haven't been able to get him like game time. So we're suddenly, you want him to like, jump in. And yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, they have the quality, but you kind of like want him to jump in and start and produce, and it just doesn't happen. I mean, look at even I think that's like the biggest problem probably with Kate is a little bit of like confidence and stuff like that. I mean, at this point, I think the guy should be used to how we play and all that kind of stuff. It's more of like a confidence issue. One of these shots, when if it goes in and he scores a goal and he has that key assist, I think everything is going to turn around. That's why I kind of want him starting all the time. But when it comes to Sturridge and Lallana and stuff, I mean, yeah, I mean they've had the opportunities, and honestly, yeah, it is frustrating because they haven't made the most of them. Really, I mean, Sturridge did in the beginning of the season, but then the
He did,
moment you
yeah.
give him the
Mhm.
keys, it's not the same guy that can come in and contribute. And that part of that reason is I don't think he can keep that intensity for 90 minutes. Whereas him coming him off the bench
Mhm.
was a lot better, and he could give you those 20 minutes, but he can't give you the 90.
No,
That's what
you're
I'm.
right. The
Go on.
the the thing with Sturridge was at the beginning of the year, everybody was raving about how he embraced his new role. He didn't have to be the focus. He was okay being the second choice, but when he came on, he was making better passes. He was holding the ball up, and it was like he had a new lease on life. And then it's almost like him sitting on the bench. He maybe got in his own head a little bit, or maybe people are in his head saying, you're better than this, mate. You should be out there. And it's just crazy how at the beginning of the year everyone's like, all right, Sturge is back to how he was, or he's reinvented himself. And now it's when he gets out there, he almost looks like he can be. I mean, he couldn't be bothered less almost to do anything. If the ball's not coming right to him, well, okay, then you guys go have a run at it. I'll be here if you need me, type of deal.
I think, but I think what the thing is as well, Long, I agree what you're saying. What both of you guys are saying, right? All I'm saying is that when these cup games are came about, we've made 11 changes or 8 changes. You know what I mean? Why can't we put one of these guys in with the really good guys that we got, like the really good players? These guys come in. I've never played in this system with these players. Do you know what I mean? So they're automatically uncomfortable. Do you know what I mean? Because they never played. You know, you look at the Wolves game, prime example. Daniel Sturridge is playing with Curtis Jones and Kean Van Hoover. I reckon Hoover's just met them that day. And he said, by the way, you're starting. Well, you're coming off the bench on 2 minutes and you've got to play the 88. You know what I mean? And I just think we should be able to rely on one of them. One, and go, right, you're playing 90. To go, and our level should not drop significantly. It should drop, okay, it drops a slight level. Like when Daniel, in the Paris Saint-Germain game, for example, when Bobby came on, you could kind of see it kind of clicked a bit more, but he played well, he got a goal, he done okay. Why can't we have that? I look at the rival side and, okay, fair enough, it's one of the best assembled sides in the history of football, okay, with the talent that they've got. But he can rest Aguero and bang in Jesus, nothing changes. You know what I mean? He can rest Leroy Sané. Now, I'm not saying that, Mahrez and Sané, either or as good as Adam Lallana's as good as them. I'm not saying that. I'm saying this, but our level should not drop off a cliff if we play one or two. It should not drop off a cliff. And at this moment, it is dropping off a cliff. Or he's scared of it dropping off a cliff, so we can't trust him. Do you get what I mean? It's just like, and eventually that could cost Liverpool. Okay, yeah, we can look and go, yeah, the burnout of City and all that. Fair enough, yeah. City got a brilliant squad. David Silva, in comes in Bernardo Silva, great. But we should be able to do that. And we have the players and on our bench where our level will not drop that much, but they're not proving it. They are not showing the level where it drops off, where it goes right. Yeah, it can come in, it'll drop off slightly, but it's not going to fall off a fucking cliff. You know what I mean? It's just frustrating, that's all. And it could be something that does cost us in the end.
Yeah, let's
No,
hope.
yeah, I agree. Go ahead.
I mean, I agree. It is just frustrating. At the same time, I mean, especially this time, and now that we've eliminated from all these other cups, and we have like I guess a lighter schedule. Yeah, I mean, we almost have to try out our front three out there, and let's hope nothing bad happens and no injuries, and these guys don't wear down. I think the lack of games hopefully will be in our favor. But yeah, I agree. It is frustrating not to be able to get the most out of the quality you have on the bench. I mean, but does that go back to Klopp at the end? Like getting these guys more playing time. There have been games where I mean, this year, I guess there weren't as many games as the year before where we had like larger leads. But I feel like even when we do have these leads, we don't substitute as fast. He's a lot more comfortable with what's working on the field at the moment, as opposed to getting the Lallana to 20 minutes. I mean, he'll show up with like 10 minutes to go and stuff, but is that really playing time? Is that really helping his confidence, or is that really helping him get to game speed? I mean, like I said, I don't know. It's not my profession. You would think Klopp obviously knows more, but I feel like if these guys games like that came in earlier and got more playing time, you would think you would make him more ready to go. Especially a guy like Lallana and stuff. When they're healthy, Lallana, Origi, all these guys.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's almost like if you bring like a Lallana or Surge on, and you're up 3-4-1 with 10 minutes to go, 5 minutes to go. It's almost like if you're them, you roll your eyes and say, "What's the point? Like, why even bother? I'm going to come out here, get a little sweat in." But we're sitting back. We want to control the ball. The other team sees the writing on the wall. They don't. You just want to get out uninjured. So you bring a guy like Lallana or Surge on, and they look at it like, well, just why? Why didn't you just leave Saul on? Why didn't you leave Mo on or like Bobby on? Why have me get out of my jacket and my hat to come freeze for the last 5 minutes of the match?
I know what you're saying. I hear what both of you are saying, 100%. I just look and think the only thing I can think of. I look at the Bournemouth away game, for example. We're 4-0 up inside an hour, and he didn't really make a sub like the 75th, 80th minute. Really, I think he brought a line on. He had a bit of a, The only thing I in his back of his mind, I think I've been burnt before. So, for example, the Seville game last year, 3-0 up, finishes 3-3, and we've been burnt with Liverpool early on last season, really before Van Dijk came in. We threw away leads quite easy. We were easy to score against. And I think in the back of his mind, he might be thinking, well, I don't want that. You know what I mean? I can just try and burn these lads into the ground, knowing there's no World Cup to come, knowing they can all go away for 6-8 weeks and then come back refreshed for next season. He might look, I don't know. That's the only thing that I can kind of think of. I looked at the Bournemouth game and think, well, make 3 subs. Make 3 and just go, fuck it. Yeah, you off. Virgil, you're off. Mane, you're off. Sally, you're off. You know what I mean? And it sounds like it's not that I'm nitpicking. I'm looking, no one goes, there's got to be a moment where these lads need a break. And our whole fans, all our fans' heads are going to fall off when one of them is not on the field and one's on the bench. They're all going to go, what's he doing? And all. Listen, it's a squad. They get paid a hell of a lot of money. And we need these players to come out against teams at home, weaker sides at home, even away. For example, if I seen a team sheet for, I know we got to go to Cardiff. If I seen the team sheet for Cardiff and he's playing Salah, Mane, and Origi, he's playing Lallana and Keita. Liverpool should beat Cardiff away from home with that side. Listen, he might do that, and great. You know what I mean? We points to be made if we win the game, but at the moment, it doesn't look like he's going to do that. It's going to look like he's going to go to these lads and go, by the way, we need you for 21 games, 22 games if you want to win the Champions League, because we're going to need you for all of them. Because I can't rely on this sack of shite here on my bench. You know what I mean? So I can't get you to rest anyway. It's just, that's all. I can just see this, it is frustrating. And especially when I look at the other side that we're playing against and the options, it's just, of course, we can't compete with them options. I get that. Their squad's better than ours. And, if football was played on paper, Man City will win the league. But football's played on grass. And that's why it's not played on paper. So, it's just, I don't know. And again, as I just said, it could be something that comes back to haunt us if we don't get minutes into these legs. Lallana, I'm all for him playing tomorrow. Now, it's been kind of, when you say it, if you play him alongside Gini, and Gini can do his running if Gini's fit, you know what I mean? And Henderson, works hard, he can do his running for him as well. Why not? You should have enough to beat Leicester at home. So, hopefully, I do see one of these guys coming in, and hopefully, prove me wrong and put in a good performance.
With all that being said, let's put a bow on this. Score predictions.
I'll take it first crack, I guess. I say we win this one. I say we win 4-1.
Mm. Yeah, I like that actually as well. I'll go 3-1. I just think I'd love us to keep a clean sheet after the Palace game. I'd just love us just to get back to being solid again. If you'd offer me 1-0 over 3-1, I'll take the 1-0 now just for the sake of the clean sheet. Really, I know. I'm like that.
No, yeah, I agree with Cozzy with a clean sheet. I'll go 3-0, and I think it's just going to be a matter of professional pride with Allison and Van Dijk and that back four, really. That not that they got called out against Palace because there wasn't really a lot they could do with those goals. But all season, all you heard was how they were setting records for goals allowed in this many games of the season. And I think to let in three, especially at home, left a sour taste in their mouth, might have pissed them off a little bit. So I think they came out tomorrow or on Wednesday, and they have a newfound drive to say, okay, we got three in last time. That's not going to happen again. Just shut everything down. Just shut the shit down. And I'll go 3-0.
I'll take it.
Well, I'll take it too.
All right. Closing thoughts?
Nothing. Just pray for Rafa to be the one-game genius that he is. Do us a favour. I just want it to be 30 shots on target for Man City and Newcastle one, where the player dives and Newcastle win 1-0 on a penalty. That, my friends, is my idea of a perfect Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah, that sounds pretty dreamy to me too. But yeah, I mean, let's hope so. Let's hope Newcastle can do something. That would really be a huge boost to us on Wednesday. On top of it too. So, like I said, I'm not too hopeful, but hey, there's always a chance when they hit the field. So let's hope Newcastle can do the trick.
Yeah, so that being said, up the Geordies, up the Reds, like, share, and subscribe. And we will see you guys Wednesday night after hopefully another Liverpool win. And we hopefully go 7 points clear of the table.
We'll take it.
Let's do it. Up the Reds.
The Reds.
Cheers.
Cheers.